Hello and welcome back. I think last video we had a look at these briefly and said I was going to get them cleaned up. We'll have a quick look over them. So these are R.211. They were made sort of 56 to 68, so they would have undergone a number of changes. So these are relatively early ones. These ones have the Mark II style couplings, and this is an unboxed one, which is a slightly different variation of the tank there. The boxes are in all sort of different conditions, and some of these wagons are very, very dusty. That one there, I got this last summer, but so far I've not managed to get around to giving that a clean up. So I'll get this lot all on the rails, and then we'll have a look at it. I'm not quite sure what we're going to run it with at the moment. Let's just have a look at the one of these boxes. This box is a different size to the rest. It's slightly longer. Let's just have a quick look over there. Can we get that in focus? There we go. R.211 Shell lubricating oil tank wagon, yellow. So there was a black wagon as well, wasn't there? So maybe we should get some of those out at another time. So this box is slightly shorter in length. Have a look at it there. I believe one of these doesn't have anything printed on, or one that could well have sort of rubbed away or faded away. Sorry, so we've got silica gel inside there. You can see some evidence of printing there, but it's definitely sort of long gone. Let's have a quick glance at another one. I don't know whether we looked at this one already yet. Let's have a see if we can get. We've got missing on one end. What have we got there? There we go. R.211 Shell lubricating. So in yellow. So that box has been around a bit, hasn't it? So sort of all various different conditions. But I think I'll just get these cleaned up, and then we'll have a little bit of fun with them on the railway. I got all those wagons sort of cleaned up. Oh, that bit of footage we saw there, you saw me taking the sort of wheels and axles out, and I've cleaned up the tanks very gently with a wet wipe and a cotton bud, staying very well clear of the sort of water slide or spirit slide transfers that are on here. If you have a look there, see if we can keep some focus there. So they're very, very fragile, but these ones seem to be sort of heat printed on. Hopefully we're keeping focus here. So yeah, that one's got a transfer on it there. So we've got sort of slightly different lettering on them. So, and then we've got these are the 3-part tanks which we looked at earlier on, in varying degrees of straightness. We'll just have a quick look at them in a moment, but I think they've come up quite nicely. I can't remember which one was the really, really dirty one now. Actually, there were two which were really dirty, weren't there? We've got a lovely R16 brake van on the end here. So I did decide in the end to get out a 262 tank locomotive, another one. So I know I've just put one away, but this is an acetate one. So I had the model apart to give it a little bit of a service, because I think I might not have run this one since I've got it. I've got a similar one we've seen in the past, but I don't think I'd run this one, judging by its condition. It wasn't too bad, but just needed a light clean on the wheels. Motor needed a bit of a remag as well. So let's just give that a bit of power, and we'll go and collect those wagons and bring them back here, and then we'll have a look at them. So solid wheels, Mark II style couplings, acetate body. We'll have a look at that body in a moment, but let's just have a look at that motor as we come in tight there. I think I've already left the points in the correct direction here. Makes a lovely sound on the rails. It will be a bit more echoey once we get the bodywork back on here. Let's just slow this down a little. Now, have we got that? Yeah, we got that. So let's just have a quick look at that. We'll give some power on there and see if we can ease those backwards. Lovely purr coming from that motor. So let's see if we can get the whole thing in. And one of these wagons was already in another rake lying in the siding, so I sort of liberated it just to extend the rake a fraction. So we'll just bring that to a stop there, and we'll whip those off and have a quick look at a couple of them. Here's the box for the tank loco, lift-off lid style box. We've got the information on the end of the box there, R.59, 262, class 3MT tank loco, black livery. Definitely effects of tape all over that if you have a look at it. So yeah, it's had a bit of a life. So a bit worn away there. I'll have a quick glance at the other end there, see if we can grab focus on that. But if you have a look at the insert picture there, you can see how it looks on the inside. The sort of original packaging, I think, may be missing. It's just sort of sitting in that sort of greaseproof style paper, but I think that sort of keeps it safe. There's that minimal sort of cardboard in there. So we'll just put this to one side and see if I can just bring in the body for this locomotive while we've still got this off. You can see it's got some rather impressive sort of distortion in it. So we're going to grab focus now. There we go. You can see this front foot plate here is sort of kicking up in the air a little. I don't know how close we can get that up into focus, but it's a lovely shiny item, isn't it? Sort of a bit of a hump developing in here. And look, we've got some sort of safety valves and a plastic plug for the whistle there. If we look on the inside there, we can see how that's sort of been glued in. I don't know if we can get detail right down there. So the metal parts have just been pushed through, and then the plastic part, some sort of cement has run through there to keep that in position. So we've got, if we can get in there, we've got a Triang there and R.59, and then made in England just hiding down there by my thumb. But the decals are absolutely gorgeous on this. Just the tiniest nicks out of it. So we'll just go around the other side and have a quick look. Coal bunker, see all that sort of distortion in the plastics there. So it's a lovely, lovely thing. So I'm going to put that down before we break it or damage it. And it's definitely had a life, but I think it's spent a lot of it inside the box. So we'll put that down there, and then we'll just sort of give some power, and we'll bring this locomotive chassis just into shot there. And we'll grab the decoupler, and we'll just unhook that. Now, because of the distortion, the chassis, not the chassis, the plastic body or the acetate body has distorted a little and shrunken. So I have taken a little off here so that it's not an extra tight fit anymore, so you can get it in and out. And ideally, if the body doesn't shrink too much more, we shouldn't have any splitting occurring in the bodywork, which would be really nice to avoid. But I think it's in reasonably original condition in there. So the commutator just needed a bit of a clean, brushes sort of refinishing. I did remagnetize it. Let's have a look underneath. So we've got those lovely solid wheels, a plastic plate on the bottom here. And there is like a plastic bush with these screws fit in there, so it makes it nice and smooth. So I think that's quite a lovely thing. So I think we'll pop that down and have a quick look over a couple of these wagons. I think we'll just leave that there, and then just pull on a couple of these in no particular order. I think this is the one which was in the other rake. So this one was already up and running and clean. So that's the sort of single piece tank. Well, it's not a single piece. The cap's separate and the end's separate. I think it's rather than the three. I'll get one with three. Hang on, then we'll be able to see what we're looking at. We won't look at them all. Let me just reach out a shot here, and we'll grab the first one with three separate parts, distinct parts down the side of the tank. So if we look at that, you've got 1 part, 2 part, 3 part, I think. So they're quite lovely things. So just very, very light cleaning, so we don't get any moisture on these sort of decals. So that one's got a decal on it as well. And then I did discover that one of the bases, one of the metal chassis is different to the rest. Let's pop this one down and see if we can get another one. So let me let's just take them all off and have a very swift look over them while we go. So wheels all relatively nice and clean. It didn't take too much. Just I think there were 2 or 3 of them I had to take the wheels out of in the end. So yeah, there's a whole piece tank again. So I think this sort of moulding was used for a number of other tank locomotives. Now it's got to be it's going to be the last one in the rake, isn't it? So that one's quite nice and crisp, isn't it? And the position that the decals lie in is slightly different on each one as well. So we do like this. I'm going to just grab there, that one. So let's have a look at another one with a Mark II coupling there. Sorry, they've all got Mark II couplings, but there, look at this sort of metal rail here, and the difference in there. You've got like hoops over there. So I think that, and the buffers are slightly lighter in construction. When you look in there, they're finer moulding rather than these ones. So a slightly different chassis on there, but I think they're rather great things. I had realised that I was beginning to get quite a collection of these together, and it'd been in my mind to sort of bring them together to make a rake. I thought it looked quite impressive. I've got a handful of petrol tankers as well. I don't think I've got as many petrol tanks as these. And then we've got the R.16 brake van there with the little clip-on tin plate running boards there. That's rather nice. A lovely distortion. I think we've seen this one before, where you sort of wrinkly roof. So R.16, that was 1953 to 67. So there were grey ones of these as well. So varying shades of the brown, and the chassis changed over the years. Went to get the Silver Seals type wheels, and the R.211. I think did we mention the number on this? R.211, 56 to 68. I think eventually gaining a plastic chassis on here, like the brake van would have done as well. Although a separate chassis for the brake van, but this would have got a chassis and the Mark III couplings. I think we have those. So let's just bring that around the inside just one time and have a look, and then we'll make for a slightly more interesting route. Yeah, so a little bit more of a rasp from the model once we've got the top back on. Let's come in a little tighter as we come past the 00 station there. It looks quite nice across the top of those wagons. Now I've got to remember to stop around here because we didn't close the points after retrieving the wagons from the sidings originally. So we've got to come to a stop there. I was actually turning that the wrong way. That's why we were picking up pace. So let's just get this one done here. So I'm looking in the wrong place here. We want to go straight there. And let's just get a little bit more power on there now and run that around. Let's see if we can just let that run. we'll get in a couple of close-up shots, and then we'll alter the route a little. Yeah, they're definitely a very vibrant colour. Oh, we've got a couple of them that's probably not quite right. There's a couple of them there that have popped up a little bit. Lovely bend on the back of that brake van. So let's just bring this to a stop under the footbridge, and then we'll change a little bit of point work. There we go. So what we want is this one here. We want to go straight with that one, and then we'll bring that around past there, and then we'll push them through this crossover and see if they behave well there. So here we go. Let's come back the other side here, and we'll look at them go from this direction. So it's a very similar yellow to the plastic used on the fences, isn't it, at the station, and the canopies. So we've got the diamond coming up here. I think we're going to have to balance it or just go over it. Doesn't seem to mind that diamond crossing at all, does it? There's lovely solid wheels on there. So let's just change that one. And we'll just come this direction. We'll roll these through the points, and we'll keep a lookout for derailments. All looking quite good. Now I better remember to do that set of points. I think we'll bring this to a gentle stop inside the station there, and we'll go and change those points before we forget them, because it'll take a lot of redoing getting this lot back on the rails. Here we go. Sorry, grabbing the wrong switch as ever. Got that. So I think we'll continue to push those around the railway. So we'll just come round to the other station. So we'll just come up a little higher. I've left the controls on the other side there, so I'm just going to let that run. Focus probably jumping for the roof there rather than the locomotive and wagons. And Hymex sitting at the station there. Got quite a few things sitting up on the elevated track at the moment. HST in the background. So I think this time we'll just grab the controls and we'll bring it back onto the inner line. See if we can lean over here. It's just before we get to that point, just around the curve here. So it's all gonna. I'm not standing up tall enough to make that come into view. Sorry. So we'll go over there. That's the point I wanted to look at. So we'll make that one curved, and we'll grab the controls. Actually, no, I've got to look. It's not just the one point there that needs to be shifted. It's at least two. So it's that one as well. There we go. And I think let's take it around the through there just to finish off with. So we'll make that one curved as well. forgetting what I was doing there. I am just making it up as I go along, obviously. So we'll give that a little power now. So we'll just go up on tiptoes here. Right, I'll go around the back of the turntable. Ooh, there we go. We've got something that's just concertinaed off there. Still, it was bound to happen at some point, wasn't it? You can see the wagons have gone there. Let's see if we can just ease that locomotive back a fraction. Yeah, look. I'd forgotten when I took the Albert Hall off the turntable earlier in the day, I've left the points. So let's just come back the other way. A near disaster. Let's get that there. And let's see if we can find out what's gone on here. So that doesn't sound or feel very convincing there. I think we've got that lot together again. So it may have been as it came through here. Again, probably more evident when we look back at the video a bit later on. Screen on the back of the camera is tiny, and if you're looking at that, or looking from a distance, or looking through glasses, or over the top of glasses, I can guarantee you probably haven't got the focus entirely where you should have. Let's see if we can make that work again. Yeah, and across the diamond. So I think that's probably about it for today, but thank you again for looking in. Hope you enjoyed seeing these wagons. I've been looking forward to having these all cleaned up for quite some time. But if you look back again next time, we'll see if we can get the petrol tanks all cleaned up perhaps. Thanks again. Goodbye now.